Automation, the new technological advancement which has seen a shift in 21st century employment. The term refers to the various automated control systems for operating equipment that companies are now implementing in their businesses. While from an industrial perspective, humans simply can't match robots in output scale, there has been criticism of automation, labelling it as a contributing factor to unemployment. While some critique it, others view it as an inevitable change and something that employers as well as future employees should be aware of. Tim Dunlop is a writer, academic, author and entrepreneur and has written extensively on politics, the media and the future of work. Tim is the author of the new book, Why the Future is Workless. He offered some of his opinions on the movement.
I try to be very positive about what's possible. So I can certainly see that there's a lot of disruption happening around different forms of employment, and this has been caused by technology, and I expect that's a process that's going to continue for quite a long time. I'm very cognizant of the arguments that say ultimately new jobs will be created. I think that's true, but I also think that the new jobs are created don't necessarily employ the people who lost the old jobs, so there's a very big mismatch there. I think the period of transition between what we've had in the past and what we're heading towards in the future is likely to be very long, maybe 50 or 60 years or something, and that's a lot of transition in which time people will suffer greatly. But I do think that ultimately the nature of the technology is such that it potentially opens up kind of, if you like, a new sort of economy and new approaches to work and employment. And I think there's potentially a lot of upside.
Thomas Gembitsky is a former factory worker and has seen the rise of automated machinery firsthand.
Yeah, look, robots, they certainly have taken my job. In my industry, we're constantly evolving, so that means new technology definitely makes work easier. Robots and automated machinery, whether we like it or not, are quicker and more efficient. I can probably see it happening in other industries. My one was just one of the first. Yeah, don't get me wrong, I'm definitely gutted about losing my job, but that's life, I guess. I mean, I'm settled now and I'm happy.
Tim writes regularly for The Guardian, The Drum and the ABC, and sees his writing as an educational tool to teach people about automation.
And I realised it was going to be such an important topic. We were obviously going through these changes, and I just wanted to get my head around it. The good thing about writing a book or writing an article or something is not just that you get to research it and think it through and write it down and express your thoughts on the subject, but you get reactions from people. So I've ended up having really wonderful ongoing conversations with people who I would never have met otherwise, and it's really kind of broadened and deepened my knowledge. What was the purpose of the book? It was really to think out loud about the issue and maybe get people talking about this, because I think it's going to be, along with climate change, I think future of work stuff is going to be one of the big wicked problems that we're going to have to confront as a society and as a world. My first book was about the way technology had impacted on journalism, and journalism is kind of the first major white-collar area of employment that was really upended by digitisation and technology. So I've had, a pretty close eye and a lot of experience in that particular area.
Tim hopes to conduct educational talks in universities and schools in the future in the hope of getting his message about automation out to a broader audience.
I've spoken to law firms, I've spoken at conferences, I've spoken to people in the employment sector like Jobs Australia, who are the peak body for all the employment agencies around the country. I've spoken with them, I've spoken at universities. It's a topic that people on so many levels relate to because work is so intrinsic to our everyday life. So everybody's got a story to tell and some experience. It's really important for young people in particular to become knowledgeable on the way in which work is changing and understand that it's a political issue, not just a technological issue, and that they have to involve themselves in these sorts of discussions and start putting pressure on governments and businesses to respond properly to this.
Max Sherry, reporting for On the Job.